Hello everyone. We are covering Bughouse World Championship in the Challenger section. This is round one of the knockout. We have BigSplat2018 and KSR Vinay versus Hagredion and Annivanova. So this is 3-minute time control, and it's going to be the first to 15 wins, the win by 2 condition. So we see the Hagredion team is has a higher rating than the other team. Instead of bishop back here, by the way, I think it would have been good to attack and defend at the same time. Maybe even throw a queen in to pick off the knight. This way can be defended with a knight. I guess this way could be defended too with a knight here. Although I don't think he had the knight when this previous move was played. So Hagredion losing a queen. He'll gain a piece back here though. Anne is attacking here. Hard to guard this back rank. Her king is very safe. So you could just take the rook. Knight comes in, you can take it because you're threatening mate. So here there's a few options. You could just trade the queens. Bishop here, also an option. It attacks the knight, also threatens. Okay, gets a rook. And then what are we going to do? Knight check? Or, again, bishop check would pick off the knight, which seems quite reasonable. Okay, instead, gonna go for some checks. This should be maiden. So queen in. Rook in is mate. Alright, our score 1-0, favoring the Hagredion team. Unfortunately, chess.com won't, if you're following a player, won't consistently put the same player on the bottom left. I've been informed about this problem for 6 years now, so I don't think it's ever going to be fixed. I'm just going to switch up who we see here. So Anne has sacked. This saves the knight, also cuts it off from h3. These light squares need to be protected at some point. Now a knight would win a queen for Anne. BigSplat also defending. Take that. The bishop helps defend. So KSR is going to start attacking rather than defending here. BigSplat seems to be fairly safe. So the problem is the queen can be taken with initiative. Now Anne is on initiative. Bishop, I liked bishop the other way because it also guarded some key squares, attack and defend at the same time. This is okay though. And get in her pieces in. Here comes the queen, knight check. Going to be quite good. So queen takes or knight takes, whatever keeps check. And this is mate. So KSR just never really defended the king. and Anne got to attack the whole time. I probably would have taken this before, but knight takes, because it's easier to defend against the queen and tempo the queen away. Yeah, now pawn in. And once the queen goes away, you can take this pawn. You can take this pawn too. Or just get the bishop out. Here comes the bishop. Targeting a pawn here. Now you can get the queen out somewhere. It just goes rook over. Threatening knight takes pawn. I should be paying attention to the other board too. Queen trade on offer. So if pawn takes, then we can do rook takes queen. Which is what we see. We're getting the queen in play. I'll probably play knight in to attack the rook and also threaten a new knight here on f5. I like knight at h6. Pawn takes, not bad. Now we can take this pawn and exploit a pin to put a new knight in. So Anne firmly in control. Hagredion is also attacking. And take this. Like this knight check. This should be mate. Yeah, rook in is mate. Didn't even need the queen. You could have put a pawn there to have the same effect. I guess the queen was more pre-movable though. Our score now 3-0, favoring Hagredion and Anne. I don't like knight out. You had a pawn. You could have put a pawn here, one apiece. Hagredion on attack. Take this bishop move. The real threat is knight in to win the queen. Also threatening to take the rook, but that's less of a threat. So knight check would win a rook. I think Anne should be castling here. I would take this rook. I would just take the free pawn, but also could consider taking this pawn if you want to keep initiative. Yeah, free pawn looks good. This isn't really an issue. You want to open the rook up anyway, so this actually helps. Hagredion firmly in control on his board. So if something besides a rook or queen lands, you can just take this pawn. Maybe pawn check on d2, or bishop check, followed by knight check. I think BigSplat should have attacked last move. Now going to lose a queen. Still it's time to attack. Yeah, pawn check. Maybe bishop takes pawn if you want to go all in. Otherwise, you could go knight back to attack the queen. Diagonals are quite good. Problem is Big Splat is down time. So Big Splat has to switch to defending. Probably this is mate for Hagredion. I don't like this bishop move. You could have retreated the bishop for the same effect. Got this piece into play. I don't like this queen move either. You could have put a rook here instead. Then you could play rook takes bishop. Finally we get this back though. And ought to sit before giving. Okay, well, now they're just winning. Looks like easy win for Hagredion. You could just put a new queen in. Oh yeah, that's the place for the queen. Nice find. That's mate. Our score now 4-0 in favor of Hagredion. I'm gonna jump into an open voice channel in case anyone wants to join me in commentary. Oh, we got a 10-minute match request coming in. Let's go over this guy's profile. We're gonna go ahead and block him. We're gonna decline the match request. Go fuck yourself. This is a great time to remind everyone about chess.com's many features. Chess.com is 30 years behind the rest of the internet. 30 years. For over 30 years, the rest of the internet has had the ability to filter your match request to get only the matches you want and not the matches you don't want. Unfortunately, chess.com technologically is 30 years. That's 2 generations behind the rest of the internet. Unbelievable. But I have to keep reminding you all of this because like it should be embarrassing for chess.com not to have this basic functionality. But unfortunately, we're still 30 years behind the rest of the internet. And because of that, I have to get a lot of bullshit match requests that I have no interest in. Like, never played a game of chess, don't want to play chess. I only want to play Bughouse. But I get all these chess match requests from assholes who created their accounts, 2 days ago and want to disrupt my stream. It's kind of weird. Anyway, back to the game. Our score is 4-0. Favor in Hagredion. Hagredion firmly on attack. Knight would be maiden. Oh, we got another match request coming in for a 30-minute time control. This guy created his account less than 6 months ago. Let's go ahead and block him. We're going to decline their match request. Go fuck yourself. Alright, Big Splat has mate. Because Hagredion forgot to check. So queen in where the king is mate. My block list has over 3,000 people on it. Because again, I have to block, 10 people a day, every day, for matching me. Because chess.com lacks basic functionality that every single chess site on the internet has had for 30 years. And that might seem, the number seems so large that it's just difficult to fathom. But yes, back in, really it's 1993. 1993, that basic functionality was available on every other chess site on the internet. Okay, so now Big Splat has made the board. Our Our score is 4-1. That's 4-1, favoring Hagredion. Hagredion apologizes to his partner for that loss. And trades the knights, now going in on the light squares. Pawn for g2 would be very good for Anne. This knight move is reasonable. Both attacks the bishop, also threatens, also defends g2. But ultimately, you're going to want to put a pawn in at g2. Maybe a bishop at this point. So it just takes the rook. Seems reasonable. Now, if not sure what to do, you could just put a pawn here to attack the dark squares. Could throw a rook in for a check. Okay, this is a mate threat with rook in the corner, but a queen mates for big splat. If there's a knight check, you can take and then step back. Okay, interesting. This knight does defend now. So trying to play rook takes knight. Or you don't even need rook takes knight, actually. If it were Hagredion's move, there would be mate with rook check, knight takes, and then some other mate. Not the some other mate we see as often, but it works. And probably Stalin to avoid giving like a bishop. Okay, this does not work though, because now there's an escape square. Maybe rook over to defend the rook. That's what we see. Thread is rook in the corner. So something needs to drop in, disconnect in these rooks. The king takes rook is the thing. That doesn't work. This is mate. Mate in 1. That is also mate, but it's a different mate. It's mate in 2 rather than mate in 1. And that gave it peace. Our score now 5-1, favoring Hagredion. We see a rook lift, otherwise known as a rover for rook over. It's a bit of a troll opening, but it puts your opponents off balance. One of the advantages of this type of opening is when you trade a rook for a piece, the rook is less useful in the early game. Rook is more useful in the end game. Rook, otherwise known as the heavy. So the knight that was taken can be put to greater use by your partner. On the other hand, there's this weakness on a8. If the bishop moves away eventually, a pawn on a7 is threatening promotion or to take the knight. So ultimately, probably want to try to displace this bishop from the diagonal, which they've done. You could just push the pawn. It creates a bit of dark squared weakness, but it should work. I don't like this bishop here. You should put it on this diagonal instead to defend this square. I suppose if you put a pawn here now, there could be a bishop check to take the pawn off. BigSplat is attacking on the light squares. Trying to win this bishop. And if you drop a knight, that's not going to work. You can take that and then pin it. But this pawn takes, knight check. It's a little scary. Hans king is a little bit vulnerable. And we see KSR Vinay attacking. Can sack. This should be mate here. Yeah. Queen in. Queen takes pawn as mate. Nice mate from KSR Vinay. Our score now 5-2, favoring Hagredion. So if pawn takes, then there's a knight check to win the queen, which we're going to see. Oh, instead of taking the queen, going for an attack. This h6 move has weakened the light squares. But and should be safe enough for now. Oh, pawn. Okay, that's mate. Knight takes. And also on attack. Our score now 6-2, favoring Hagredion. Some trades are happening. Hagredion attacking this bishop. Queen trade on offer. I think this pawn seems loose. Maybe doing bishop in, potentially. Okay, this bishop lines up a bit. Might need to sack your queen. Or well, if partner can avoid queen, he can take this pawn. It's a little bit scary though. Queen takes. Knight takes knight. Okay, and her position's a little bit loose. Okay, queen mates for Anne. Rook is also quite good. Hagredion sacking a queen. That might leave a mark. So Anne's gonna defend against the mate. Still preserving her own mate. Looks like Hagredion has mate on his board. And a lot safer than before. Still preserving the mate threat. Hagredion has mate in one. You can bring this bishop back. Or just drop a pawn in. Alright, our score 7-2. Favoring Hagredion and Anne. I like knight in to attack this pawn. Okay. Did not do that. It also just develop some things. Well, there's a knight coming in. I like this knight move. You're attacking the pawn, also threatening pawn in. Although you probably want to play bishop up first. Because rook check could happen. Pawn takes pawn. Oh, okay. This knight move prevents the rook from coming over. Now you're winning a piece, probably. Put a bishop in. Okay. offering a queen. This was an odd life choice. Looks like trying to make a queen trade. And is now defended. KSR Vinay is down 5 seconds. Big Splat has a safe king. You can take the rook potentially. That gives the big queen. Oh, okay. Let's take this knight. Now threatening knight check, 2 different places. We're throwing the knight check. And potentially play queen takes bishop here. Another possibility is queen takes pawn. Big Splat would like a rook for the smothered mate. Don't think that's going to happen. I don't know why you took the bishop. It was like the least good of all the pieces to take. Knight takes bishop is... Oh, wow. Queen can come in the corner. All of a sudden, Anne is crushing. So bishop mates. Anne is down a bunch of time, though, so bishop is not going to come. On the other hand, a rook looks forced. So Big Splat should win this. Big Splat of about 9 seconds. Big Splat doesn't need to move. We have rook and smothered mate. And they've resigned it. My score now 7-3. Favoring Hagredion and Anne. So Hagredion has got a bunch of pieces on the board chasing the queen around. But it may have been better to move the pieces to keep more pieces in hand. It's looking like a pretty good attack, though. Could take the queen. Okay, it's just going to take the bishop. Oh, we got a match request coming in. Let's go ahead to this guy's profile. We're going to go ahead and block him. We're going to decline the match request. Go fuck yourself. This is a great time to remind everyone that chess.com is 30 years behind the rest of the internet in allowing people to filter match requests by what they actually want to play. 30 years. For 30 years, not just some, but literally every other chess server on the internet has allowed people to filter match requests according to what they actually want to play. Chess.com is 30 years behind the rest of the internet. Okay, so a knight is very good for Hagredion. With knight at c4. Knight is also good for Anne. Maybe bishop at e6 look crushing. This is not crushing. Now Anne is going to lose a bunch of pieces. Probably lose 2 queens. Okay, well, all of a sudden, a knight mates for Anne and a pawn is quite good. And downtime, though. Not going to get those things. I'll just take this several different ways. So trying to get this knight Knight being made in 1 if KSR Vinay doesn't defend. Does defend. Now maybe a pawn would be good. Hagredion probably going to mate himself. Knight still defends e7. Hagredion still completely safe. Oh, okay, there's rook takes pawn or queen takes pawn. This should be maiden. Nice find. Another win for Hagredion. Our score now 8-3, favoring Hagredion and Anne Ivanova. So these knight check squares are both covered. Trying to get the knight out. I wonder if there's a possibility, like if a rook came, that would be very good for Hagredion. He wants rook at h8, king takes, knight takes, queen in, something like that. But no, he's just gonna stay solid. So if pawn takes, you have knight in. Probably a queen sack would have to come. KSR Vinay is sacking. Pawn is quite good though, or bishop. All of a sudden, Anne is the one attacking. Queen mates for Anne with rook in the corner and then queen h2. Now you can queen this pawn. Oh, I think you should have queened the pawn instead of this rook check. Takes a free piece. Gets the pawn off the board. Might as well take this rook. Ooh, this has to be a mouse slip. You want knight check instead. But BigSplat is safe enough that I don't think it's gonna matter. This king over. This is for sure mate for Anne. Works out. Our score is 9-3, favoring Hagredion. You see a fianchetto from Hagredion. Gets that king's bishop out, always important in the open end. On the right board, a pawn fork, one apiece. And making some trades. You see tripled pawns. And Hagredion fairly safe, targeting this pawn. Gets the knight in the center of the board. Creates a weakness on g7, but the king has a lot of running room. So it should be fine. Knight attacking the queen. Could ignore that. Yeah, so he ignores that and sacks. This square is covered. Square is covered. So Hagredion getting some initiative here. Probably pawn check. Bishop check is good. I don't like this pawn check. Bishop check would have been much better. You could get safe by grabbing the knight. Now you have knight check. And maybe knight takes pawn after that. But there was a missed opportunity to take this knight for free. Whenever you can attack and defend at the same time, that's worth doing. Another opportunity. I would get safe here. Okay, so instead Hagredion going all in with the attack. Probably going to work out anyway. Knight check. That's mate. So the attack worked out, but I don't like the technique. It just was a little bit risky. Instead of going all in, you could have defended while attacking. Our current score is 10-3, favoring Hagredion. BigSplat, somewhat vulnerable here. Defends this pawn, also attacks e7. A sack from BigSplat. BigSplat wins with a queen. A knight would also be quite good. Now attacking on the light squares. Pawn at f2 looks good. This is awful because of the check. Pawn at f2 would have been much better. And if takes, you could have taken the rook. Hagredion now has a monster attack. Oh, we're getting a match request in for chess. Let's go ahead to this guy's profile. We're going to go ahead and block him. Then, oh, it looks like the match request has gone away. Anyway, go fuck yourself. Okay, so KSR Vinay is on attack. There is a mate threat with queen check and then knight in. Hagredion's attack is mostly disappeared. Queen at h8 would be good if you could get a queen. It's quite unlikely. BigSplat needs to get some defense. Maybe put something on f6. Oh, you don't have time for that. On check. You can promote to knight here, potentially. Or just promote to queen. Is he safe enough to promote to queen? Maybe not. Okay, I like this. Promotes to knight. I like bishop check. I don't like bishop right next to this. If he had left this vacant square, he could have put a knight in afterwards. Oh, this is a nice find now. Knight check. Now a pawn is crushing. Pawn is better than a bishop here because you want to promote. Rook also mates immediately. Can't we just take this? I suppose you have bishop at e7. So with the time situation, KSR Vinay is up time. Gonna wait till his partner's safe. So honestly, I think the move here is bishop bet. If the queen sacks, then you just take it. BigSplat has to go. This is a double sit situation, which was terrible. liquidates a little bit. You could keep attacking with knight in the back, or you could defend by bringing your queen up to one of these squares. Queen comes up. Knight check wins the queen. Bishop check also does. Now big splat on the attack. Seems like a mate for big splat. Oh, but KSR Vinay gets the mate. Alright, our score now 10-4, favoring Hagredion. Hagredion is playing the hang a pawn opening, which I hate, but a lot of Bughouse players play it. So it's like a 2-for-1 sale over here on pawns in the opening. And there's a queen trade. Although, on the other hand, Big Splat immediately gives it back by sacking a bishop for nothing. This king is perfectly safe unless a queen comes. Big Splat continues to sack pieces. This is a terrible opening for Big Splat. He has, well, last move he had 0 development. Now he has 1 piece developed. Hagredion can easily defend the king and is up like 3 pieces. Oh, on the other hand, this was a bit of a failure to communicate because Anne seems like she's going to now trade a queen. This is looking awkward. I mean, a lot of trades are about to happen. I think Hagredion can live through a queen now. I would have taken this rook where you have a chance. But continuing to put pressure on the queen is okay. I still would take the rook. But takes the queen instead. He could sack the queen. In the meantime, Hagredion ought to be putting a queen on the board defensively, like queen at e7, something like that. This is a little bit adventurous. Now, I like bishop check and take knight here as a defensive move for KSR Vinay. Doesn't have a bishop right now. It should be easy enough to get. Instead, KSR Vinay seems to be going all in on the attack. I don't think it's a good idea. Again, whenever you can attack and defend at the same time, definitely worth doing. That just hangs a bishop and also probably a king. You can sack the queen. But yeah, this king is perfectly safe, so no need to sack the queen. Hagredion's going to start attacking. Queen takes pawn is fine too. Hagredion perfectly safe. They are up a boatload of pieces because Big Splat sacked 3 pieces in the opening for no reason. Knight check is good. Another knight check. Oh, I like this rook move a lot. Okay, even better. This should mate. Knight check is mate. You can also take the rook. All right. Our score is now 11-4, favoring Hagredion and Anne. It is first to 20. So the response here should be push pawn. This runs into problems with knight check and also just like taking the pawn. Knight check, we're gonna get a free queen. You can take that. Bishop check is good. Then take whatever goes down there. Let's take it. Bishop check again. Now knight or rook will mate. Knight is in take. Goes a queen. They're up 5 seconds. So this is force mate. There's the knight. Our score now 12-4, favoring Hagredion. Pawn wins a piece. Hagredion played the sack a pawn for nothing opening again though. So that pawn didn't come for Anne. And was not able to win a free piece. And Hagredion down a pawn for no reason. BigSplat attacking these dark squares. So a knight can land on c7 at some point. So BigSplat traded a bunch of pieces. Rook in the back looks good. Gets to promote a pawn. Essentially, this fake queen might trade for the real queen, like queen up, something like that. Okay. Castle, or, okay. Interesting. I think BigSplat trying to trade for his partner. Diagonal for f2 is quite good. So there's rook check. New knight in. Knight takes knight. And queen takes knight is possible, but it's a little bit scary. You could just take the queen. That's probably safer. Rook takes queen. Oh, that's a little bit scary. No blockers available right now. And if king over, there's rook check. Okay, there's a blocker. Now rook check with no blocker, also scary. And it's going to pause a bit to defend. Hagredion up 1 second and is stalling for his partner. I think eventually we're going to see bishop takes knight. Bishop takes knight, queen takes, and then fake queen, trade it for a rook, something like that. Bishop in. And is a lot safer now. Maybe knight check. That forks the rook, also forks this knight in the back. The knight is pinned, of course. It seems like a free bishop. That was a fake queen, keep in mind. BigSplat on the attack. I like bishop check. Get safe. That's what we see. Here I would probably take this. Queen in, looks like mate. Now that we've cut off the rook from defending. Queen at e7, game over. Our score 12-5. Favoring Hagredion. Hagredion said, "Oh my god," in the chat. Apparently he didn't see that. Made him one. Okay, a pawn wins a piece. A big splat. Pawn apparently not coming. Big splat, trade in some pieces. On an h3 is a possibility. Okay, this bishop move is fine too. And yeah, the pawn push is the way out. Knight check, wins a queen. So if like a pawn lands on e2, okay, just king over. Now you have the possibility of, oh, don't know about that one. Okay, well maybe rook over. I think it's not safe to just take the bishop. I think you have to guard this. Now this wins a queen, but the attack fizzles. Yeah, queen takes is fine. Take that. Oh, they're down a significant amount of time though. So if Hagredion just waits, then Anne can get a crushing position here. Oh, is there mate? Wow. Oh, what? That was not the way. You can take this. Looks like Anne is just gonna stall, but Anne can take this and at least live a few moves. So yeah, there was mate before. Um, yeah, so on the right board, didn't defend well. On the left board, there was mate that was missed. Because you could have played rook takes rook and then queen down. If I recall correctly. Someone's saying something on Discord. Where is that? Oh, nothing relevant. So big splat up about 7 seconds. I'm not sure what the holdup is here. Hagredion attacking the light squares. Bishop does guard for now. Yeah, bishop takes. Oh, knight mates for KSR Vinay. And there's a knight. With king over, we have some other mate. Resigned it. Our score is 13-6, favoring Hagredion. Pawn wins a piece, but instead the knight hops in. Probably now wants a pawn for h6. I like pushing f pawn here. Even get a rook lift. Or bishop takes. Even, okay. Bring in some things. Now Big Splat can win some pieces. Pawn takes knight. You have a pin. Bishop takes is fine. Exploiting the pin. Or you could throw a knight in somewhere. Trying to come in on the light squares. Alright, this rook is way out of the game. Pretty irrelevant at this point. I like this knight move. So this is covered. Taking the rook. Okay, gonna try to come in on the dark squares. And coming in on the light squares. These are covered for now. Big Splat wants some trades of diagonals. Oh, wait, what? This is mate. Rook in is mate. I guess that was a forced mate, because you couldn't play pawn takes or the rook would come in the corner. So nice find. Our score now 14-6, favoring Hagredion. Knight check. Free queen. This happens like every game. You would think that KSR Vinay would learn from this. Okay, so now we want pawns and bishops. So if it doesn't come, what are our options? You could queen check and take a free pawn and try to like eat more stuff. Okay, it just gets the queen out. That's a little dangerous because a pawn could land on d2. Okay, a bishop now wins a queen. They're now in 5 seconds, maybe 4 seconds. I don't see a bishop coming. Could throw the queen in here, I guess. To pin and get your knight in. Hagredion took a long time. Now they're down 10 seconds. This queen also making a threat. Alright, KSR Vinay is consolidated. Maybe want to get this knight out. Going for the dark squares. And there's bishop take, pawn takes. Oh, this king does not look very happy. I would have taken the bishop. Partner wants pieces at this point. Oh, bishop takes pawn. Okay, knight takes, new knight in. Seems crushing. Alright, so potentially you could push the pawn. Rook probably mates here. I don't know what the point of this is. Maybe they wanted to repeat once, but not a good move. You really want to get a5 in. There's a5. Alright, now you could bishop check and then take the knight, potentially. Actually, is this mate? Knight b2 looks pretty crushing. I think that's mate. Let's see if he finds it. He did not find it. Maybe that wasn't mate. Did he have this square? Maybe he had that square. But it looks pretty good. Push pawn. Might as well take this pawn eventually. Oh, nice mate. Okay, sorry, Vinay. Got a bit lucky with the trades though. Okay, so Vinay needs to stop hanging that queen when he's black. Hagredion attacking the dark squares. I like pawn at h3 or Anne to threaten knight check to win the queen. It is not going for that line of attack. KSR Vinay is attacking. And trying to get safe, take this pawn away. Being mates for Hagredion. Excuse me. I'm not sure what KSR Vinay is waiting for. Maybe wants like a pawn for h7. Okay, well that just hangs his best attacking piece. Hagredion trying to make a rook mate by attacking this knight. Takes the knight. Rook plus knight mates. Maybe rook plus knight plus pawn. But he's just gonna continue going instead in the threats. G2 is weak. Maybe just knight takes, then bishop takes. So the bishop will guard G2 in the end. So now this knight square is attacked. Knight check. Oh, knight check would have won a queen. Apparently he did not want a queen. I like this move. It attacks and defends at the same time. Can you just take this pawn? And then win a queen potentially? Seems like an option. Anne has an enormous amount of extra pieces. Maybe Hagredion is going to stall and let his partner get these pieces on the board. That just hangs a piece. That's kind of odd. I guess going for a rook. I don't know. These moves make very little sense to me. Knight could come in. Okay. This move makes sense. Well, gives up the rook. Knight takes knight. Bishop takes bishop, and then you can take afterwards. I take this bishop for sure. Oh, I don't like this move. Alright, they're just going for flag. I guess there have been any flags. I score 15-7. Favoring Hagredion. It's first to 20. No. Hold on. Oh, no. I'm sorry. It is. Is it first to 15? Oh, it is. Yeah. It is. I'm sorry. GG's. Yeah, it's first to 15 for the challenger section. My bad. So GG's. I'll put the final score in the chat. Final score 15-7. Yeah, I had it in my mind it was first to 20 because I was thinking of the open section, but it is just first to 15. Okay. Favoring Hagredion and Annivanova. So congrats to the winners. We're gonna find someone to raid. Oh, it looks like Cha Cha Chess is streaming. That's a good candidate right there. Let's see if he's not doing 4-player chess right now. We'll probably raid Cha Cha, but let's just have a peek at the chess category to see if there's anything interesting going on. Anyone streaming variants or anything like that. Looks like everyone is doing Titled Tuesday. Okay, I don't see any chess variants apart from me. So we're gonna raid our friend Cha Cha Chess. Oh, oops. So Cha Cha streams. Well, he used to stream a ton of 4-player chess. Now he streams, I would say, 2/3 chess, maybe 3/4 chess, 1/4 4-player chess. But we do like to support the chess variants. Cha Cha is one of the best 4-player chess players in the world. I think he was the first to get to a 3,000 rated in that. And now he's probably, what, top 5 in the world, something like that. He recently got the CM title, which in my opinion is the best FIDE title possible, just because CM is my initials. So show some love to Cha Cha Chess, drop him a follow. Thanks so much to the players. Congratulations to Hagredion and Annivanova for progressing. So on Friday, we're going to cover Ibrat and Barris versus Ferrari Fan and Lock and Key. On Saturday, we have Rezex and Zidibu versus Manusta and Zoraz 4. So I'll try to cover as many of these matches as I know about. Thanks everyone for joining me. I hope you have a great afternoon. Bye guys.